chances are you scan the label for calories, fat, and sugar content. But what about the other ingredients hiding behind familiar, seemingly harmless terms, or the ones our brains skip over because we can't pronounce them? Today, we're discussing some of the most common and least understood terms on food labels because some of these ingredients might not be as innocent as they sound. So on that note, let's talk about preservatives and additives. In your opinion, are these more or less important than the fat, sugar, and in content in food? And why?
They are the most important to label because they are, again, pro-inflammatory. Pro-inflammation in the body. They're pro-inflammatory chemicals, and at times they're even carcinogenic. So it's important to see them on a label. But they're the least important things that we need in food because they're meant for processed foods. Processed foods are not foods. They are labeled as foods, but they are processed and chemically altered. And so that's where it gets tricky. They are meant to preserve and create shelf stability in products that we see in markets. They're created as antimicrobial agents. They are flavor enhancers. They are thickeners and emulsifiers. They're meant to make food look and taste good, and they are addictive. That's another part.
Addictive.
They could be addictive because they enhance flavor. If you think about it, they give texture to things. So there's some preservatives that I'm not as wary. For example,
what are some of those?
Guar gum is probably the most innocent of.
Now, what is that?
Guar gum is taken from gum. It's connected to pea protein. In small amounts, and I'm really
emphasizing
small amounts, it has health benefits for the gut. Larger amounts could lead to more inflammation because it can, over time, it can become a little bit more thicker and gain volume in our gut.
Okay.
That's where it could be potentially inflammatory and create more of that bloating or discomfort for people.
So something that starts out as not bad, maybe a little bit healthy, can become too much, like so many things.
Exactly. And if you isolate guar gum on its own, it is a healthier option. It has health benefits, and there's a lot of research. It is controversial because it could create inflammation too if it's consumed in high amounts.
Right.
It is soluble, and that's where, I'm not too cautious with guar gum if it's a last resort thing and I want to buy almond milk very quickly and I don't have time, but I really need it that day. I try to make it at home myself. But if I really need it and I see it, it's an organic source almond milk, I'm okay with it. Now, we have other things like sodium benzoate and BHD and BHA.
Yeah, explain those to me.
Those are carcinogenic. So sodium benzoate, if it's exposed to an acidic environment, can become really toxic. It is a carcinogen. It is cancer-causing. And same with BHT and BHA. And they are really just, what happens with sodium benzoate is it turns into benzene. Benzene is what we use to fuel our cars.
I don't know, that sounds like gas.
Yeah, so that's what happens. That's where, if it breaks down in an acidic environment, it is very dangerous. What
are some of the foods that we find some of these additives in that you can think of?
I don't see a lot of it in Canada or personally, but I would say you would find it in really highly processed foods like certain frozen processed meals could have it. Okay. So, with the BHT and BHA, I would say I've seen them because I don't really eat these foods anyway, but I see it in a lot of candies. And if you see candies and really highly processed strange sauces, and if you see them in really strange concoctions that I don't know what people eat these days anymore at this point, but if you see a strange item where it has a lot of color, it has a lot of shine, and it has a lot of ingredients.
It's probably got a lot of extra stuff in it.
You can't pronounce it. There are other artificial flavors and colorings going on.
Yeah.
Avoid it.
Avoid it. Okay, we've got 30 seconds here. So quickly, what are some of, you said the gut biome, but what are some of the health risks long term, not just the bloating for the moment, but long term?
So inflammation is the cause of illness, right? We want to avoid these ingredients like even things like citric acid or ascorbic acid, they're considered vitamin C, but they really could be inflammatory in the long run. They could be carcinogenic and lead to more illness and neurological developmental issues down the line.
Important to realize that. Stay with us.